Okay, so one of the most commonly asked questions is always what's in my camera bag. So I will of course present that, and I will of course also say that it is not so much about your camera as what's behind the camera, even though the camera and your gear does have a little bit to say depending on what kind of photography you do. So I am a landscape fine art photographer. I do astrophotography, I do cityscapes, and I do landscapes, mainly landscapes. I am traveling a lot and I'm hiking a lot. So for me, it's about having as practical gear as possible. Yet I don't want to compromise in the picture quality when it comes to especially night photography. First of all, my backpack. It is a Love Pro Tactic 350 AW. There is a bigger model, the 450, and I am considering buying that one because this one is a tad bit small. So another cool feature of this bag is the built-in raincoat, and that is a very important feature when you are traveling in places with a lot of rain, such as Iceland and the Faroe Islands. So you just wrap it around and you're pretty covered. Works very well. So at this pocket I have my extra SD cards. I have put the caps of the camera together to have an extra little box where I can put them in. Alright, and on the side here I have my tripod. This one is a Sirui tripod. It is a traveling tripod, carbon fiber. It's the T2205X model. So far I would say it's pretty good. It's pretty expensive too, but it has served me well. It works very fine. I haven't had many problems with it. My old tripod died on my trip to Iceland, and this one has survived everything so far. So works pretty well. I'm not too happy about the ball head. It's a bit impractical, so you might want to consider buying a new ball head. Alright, so the gear itself. So, the camera. For now, I am using the Canon EOS 5DS. Why am I using a 5DS? Well, I got a good deal. That's basically it. I got it used for... It was a bit more expensive than a used 5D Mark III. And I decided, like, why not just go for this one? I can't really recommend the 5DS. The files are ginormous. 50 megapixels is total overkill. The files are ginormous on your computer and you don't really need 50 megapixels at all, like 30 max. So the 5D Mark IV comes way more recommended from my side when it comes to this. The 5DS is basically just an upgraded 5D Mark III, so it has the same noise performance when it comes to astrophotography, and it is not better than the 6D, the old 6D, the 4 years old 6D. So yeah, go with the 5D Mark IV if you are in this price range. Else go with the 6D for landscape photography, and that is only if you're using Canon. There are other cameras out there, but I have always used Canon. I have invested a lot of money in Canon glass, but since the 6D Mark II seems to be such a disappointment, I am considering jumping ship. But let's see what the Nikon D850 will bring to the market. Attached to my camera body, I have the Sigma Art 24 to 105mm f4. It is a brilliant lens. There are built-in lens stabilization. It is a bit heavy, but it's very versatile, and after I bought this one, it is my standard lens. I'm using it for almost everything now. It comes highly recommended from me. Highly recommended. Most people say that it is not as sharp as other lenses, and that is true, but consider the price point. I would almost say there's nothing better on the market right now for full frame Canon bodies when it comes to versatility. Alright, so the next lens is my Canon 16 to 35mm. It is fairly light. It is the f4 version, and it's sharp. It is very nice. It works perfectly for what it's designed for. Also comes highly recommended from me. And as a telezoom, I have the 70 to 200 millimeter f4. This is the non-IS version. I've just bought it because I actually do have the 70 to 200 f2.8, but the problem with this one is it's very heavy. This one is way lighter, so 500 grams does count a lot in the end when you are out hiking. And I really don't use the 2.8 for this one anyway, so I might as well go with something lighter. So the last lens is my Sigma 20mm 1.4. It is brilliant for astrophotography because it lets in so much light. And that is basically it. Now the problem is with these 4 lenses, I actually don't have space for them if I also want to bring my other small stuff. This is my vlogging camera, the Sony RX100 Mark IV. It is brilliant for what it does. It's not perfect. No vlogging camera so far is perfect. Right now I'm recording on a borrowed Canon M5, which seems for now to be really good, but might as well use this one. It's also smaller. So up here in all these pockets, I have extra batteries, an extra battery for the Sony, my vlogging camera, and I have extra batteries for my 5DS. The extra batteries are third-party batteries, but they work really well. And I have an extra battery for my GoPro camera. I don't have it here, but it's the GoPro 3 Black Edition. In regard to filters, I am using circular filters. I am not using a filter system with those square filters because it takes up too much space, and I've always used these and I'm comfortable using them. I always bracket my pictures. I don't use graduated natural density filters. So what do I have in here? I have my Vue polarizing filter. All my filters are 82 millimeters. So I am using step-up rings so I can attach them to my lenses, which is not 82 millimeter. Step-up rings is a lifesaver, so I don't have to invest in a lot of different filters. I actually mainly just have my polarizing filter here. I have my 10-stop from Haida. I can't recommend it. There's too much color cast in it. So find another ND filter for that. And my 6-stop ND filter. This one is from Breakthrough. It comes highly recommended for me. There's no color cast, and the side here is rocked, so it's pretty easy to get off your lenses. This one is very expensive when it comes to filters, but in the filter world you for the most part get what you pay for. Of course, you also need a blower for dust. Another important tool in my backpack is the headlamp. This one is extremely important if you do night photography, and I would suggest that you buy one which is a bit more expensive. Don't buy those cheap ones. Buy one with a lot of light in it, which can throw out a lot of lumen. This is really good, very important. You are probably also going to ask in regard to what I'm recording my sound on. I am using, in this case, my Zoom H1 to record the sound, and the microphone is the Rode Video Mic Pro Plus. It has just arrived on the market, and so far it seems to work really well. So this was a presentation of my gear. Now again, it is not about the gear. You need to buy what works for you, what makes you most comfortable in the field. The main reason why I am still with Canon and I'm having a bit of concerns with changing to, let's say, Sony, is that I am not 100% comfortable with the weather sealing of the Sony camera, such as the A7R II. I am more comfortable with the Canon still, but using Canon comes with compromises, using Sony comes with compromises, using Nikon comes with compromises, so you need to find the gear that works the best for you. And of course, when I talk practicalities, you might ask, why am I not getting a smaller camera house? Well, full frame cameras is for the most part best for night photography, and I do make a lot of night photography. So that is for me a deal breaker. If the sensor is smaller, the rule of thumb is that it is having a harder time handling noise. So the bigger the sensor from the same generation is, as a rule of thumb, always better at handling noise. Alright, so when it comes to practicalities, I have just invested in this Peak Design CapturePro camera clip, and it seems to work really well so far. So the thing is, you put on your camera back like this here, and it comes with a little plate. You can put it into the tripod if you want to, but else you can just attach the camera like this, and then you can go for a walk. It is not going anywhere, that's for sure. So this will be very, very handy. There's like a button to take it off, and it works with my tripod too. You just have to press down the button here at the side, and then I can just slide it in and lock the tripod. Works really, really well. Yep, this is it. There is, of course, also the drone. Don't mind this beautiful backpack. So what I found out is that my drone fits into like almost all backpacks fairly well, actually. And I can even, on top, if I extend the straps, I can put it on top of my camera bag like this here. So it is very easy to walk with when I'm out. Okay, it looks ridiculous, but it's practical. So anyway, the drone. The drone is the DJI Phantom 3 Standard. It only offers 2.7K video, not 4K, and that is mainly the biggest problem of it. It does get the job done. It's a bit big compared to the DJI Mavic, which a lot of people are using for now as their standard drone. And yeah, I would like to get the Mavic instead, because the size of this one is a bit big. It's a bit unhandy. I always have to attach the propellers. The signal of the Phantom 3 Standard is not very good either. Already after 200 to 300 meters it starts getting very weak and it falls out, and that makes it a less versatile drone than some of the other drones which is on the market. In regard to drones, I can't recommend this one, but I would suggest getting the DJI Mavic as a first-time user of drones. And again, I can't stress this enough. Some of my best pictures has been shot on this one, not on a full frame. Some of my other best pictures has been shot on a 5D Mark II. Others are shot on a 5D Mark III. And others again is shot on a 5DS. The pictures themselves has not improved. I have improved as a photographer. Some would probably argue not, compared to what I have shot in the past. But as a photographer, we are always changing. It is not so much about the gear. Remember that. This is probably the fourth time I've said it. It is not about the gear. Find the gear that works for you. But upgrading to a $5,000 camera body does not make you a better photographer. Okay, so that was basically it. Of course, some of my stuff I can't recommend, other stuff I can recommend, and all the stuff I can recommend I have linked down below. It is affiliate links, so if you want to support me, you can go buy it through them or whatever. Alright. The next video will be my Q&A video. I've got a lot of very, very nice questions, and I am looking forward to answer them all.